Good evening, welcome to the Pearl Report. I'm Diana Lin. Dozens of Chinese martial arts styles are being practiced in Hong Kong, but most people are familiar with just a few that have become part of popular culture. Many other styles have vanished as practitioners lose interest. In the second of our two-part series, producer Melissa Gecolea looks at lesser-known Kung Fu and how keeping them relevant might ensure their survival.
The southern praying mantis originated in the hills of Fujian province.
Due to the hilly terrain, there are less footwork and jumping, but more hand gestures, more short-distance release of strength, not wide and long. I am Li Tin Loy of the East River Chow family praying mantis. I was born in 1954 at Sha Tin's township office. I grew up in a Sha Tin village. I started to learn Kung Fu at 16.
At 19, Li joined the Marine Police and looked for a Kung Fu master.
I'm Hakka. I heard people talking about the different styles of Hakka Kung Fu. I'd heard about my Sifu Ip Shui for a long time. By chance, I saw Sifu's signboard here in Mongkok.
Li was 24 when he finally became Yip Shui's disciple. Yip Shui's master, Lao Sui, was dubbed East River Tiger for his southern praying mantis expertise. For 7 years, Li spent his free time practicing with Yip Sifu.
I usually went to him after work.
And on his days off,
at 11 a.m. I practiced Kung Fu until 1 p.m. I would have lunch with my Sifu. After that, at 3 p.m. I practiced again until 5 or 6 p.m. After Sifu officially retired in 1989, I went to Sifu's place every month to Yam Cha. In the old days, people treated their Sifu as their father, thus teacher-father. Earlier generations even lived and ate together, helped to boil tea, sweep floors, and cook. The older generation distinctively classified student, disciple, and apprentice. The new generation calls Sifu coach.
Hing Chao is a martial arts practitioner and founder of the International Goshu Association and the Hong Kong International Kung Fu Festival. Both seek to preserve martial arts.
International Kung Fu Festival is intended to be a cross-sector collaboration to show people what martial arts means, what are the differences between Kung Fu, historical development of martial arts. A master ordinarily in the past will observe a student over a period of time before deciding whether or not to take him on board. If he decides to do that, then he will impart all the skills, all the secrets to that disciple.
Go. The East River Chow family praying mantis style came from the Shaolin Temple in Fujian province in the late 1700s. Its founder, Chow Anam, was actually a Hakka from Guangdong province.
When he was young, he worked in the kitchen of the Shaolin Temple. While chopping wood, he saw a praying mantis fighting with an acacia bird. Finally, the bird was injured and fell to the ground. He felt very surprised to see such a small praying mantis defeating an acacia bird. Later, he caught some praying mantises. He used sticks of grass to provoke them to see how they fought. He then integrated the moves into Fujian's southern boxing style.
From this, he developed southern praying mantis, which was taught among the Hakka.
Hakkas were based in the north but moved south. Many plains were already occupied by locals. To survive, whether by intellect or aggression, Hakkas practiced kung fu that can be integrated into daily life. This hand wringing is like how people used to ground rice and grains. This hand holding onto here, lifting the basin. And this is like carrying things on a pole over your shoulder. These movements come from everyday work.
Under Master Lei Tinloi and his martial arts brothers, the training techniques, the tradition of Southern Praying Mantis is being kept very much true to tradition. And that is rare, even though they do not have a lot of followers in Hong Kong. The students they have tend to be of high standard. Doing anything well involves kung fu. In order to become good at martial arts, it requires dedication of your spirit to the art form.
To learn like a toddler, like you're learning how to walk and do the horse stance. Then you do the san shou. After that, you could do the set of kung fu. They're very tiring, boring. The main thing is whether you could withstand the boredom.
Lee teaches at the Hong Kong Chinese Martial Arts Association, where he is currently executive director.
I don't need many students. Like here, I'm teaching 2 to 3 people, sometimes 14, my maximum quota. If I teach a large class of students and they can't pass it on, can't get the form right, it's useless, however many pupils you teach.
Traditionally, Chinese parents would send intransigent children to learn from a kung fu master.
They expect the martial artists to instill a sense of discipline and correct behavior and respect into the students. So I think these are micro and community levels in which martial artists continue to play a role in society today.
I have a student who started learning kung fu from me as a teenager. I'm very strict with my disciples. After he had fought for a while and understood, he's now very obedient. When he was naughty, his mom used to call me. The naughty boy won't listen to anything I say. Sifu, help me scold him. He's now a very good boy.
I wasn't very obedient, but I'm not a bad guy. Following my Sifu feeling his love, he made me grow up gradually, reverting to the right path. Before, I was immature. My former self wouldn't do volunteer work. Now, when I have time, I would visit the elderly.
Founding Master Chow Ai-nam predicted Southern Praying Mantis would last 7 generations.
Our family of Kung Fu has a history of 222 years. Sky, Dragon, Tiger, Phoenix, we're the 5th generation. But how we pass it on depends on how every Sifu, every fellow practitioner nurture their protégés. The requirements of current Kung Fu practitioners are far different from those in my grandmaster's time. If every hand movement, footwork and form of Southern Praying Mantis are totally not up to scratch, this family of Kung Fu would lose its style.
From the perspective of culture and research, to the extent that it has preserved many facets of training which were once popular in Southern Chinese martial arts dwindle to only a few styles, which have kept these traditions alive, Southern Praying Mantis being one of them.
Practicing Kung Fu is tough. Some people have to earn a living, so many Kung Fu styles are already lost.
Hakka tradition, it remained relatively unknown outside of the martial arts community. Teet Ngao, Praying Mantis, Lam Ga Gao, Lao Man Gao, etc., which are Hakka lineages who have an important role in the historical development of Southern Chinese martial arts, but which are so obscure that even martial arts practitioners at large don't know about them.
Many Kung Fu styles I had heard of when I was little have become extinct in Hong Kong. No matter how great the Sifu is, if he doesn't have protégés to carry on and pass it along, people grow old and the Kung Fu will disappear.
Up next, martial arts masters moving with the times.
Daising 50%, Pet Qua 15%. And my grandmaster combined it and simplify it and call it Daising Pet Qua.
How movies have popularized Kung Fu lineages.
Bruce Lee crafted his personality to represent the underclass, the exploited. The martial artist became someone much more important, someone small. Through his own training and discipline, he can empower the people around him. He can represent people who are without power.
This and more when the Pearl Report returns.
Welcome back to the Pearl Report. Only a handful of Kung Fu styles remain popular in Hong Kong, mainly due to their portrayal in films or practitioners' efforts to move with the times. Melissa Gecolea reports their perpetuation depends on the masters.
Taishing Pekwa is one of the few northern martial arts that became popular in Hong Kong, where Southern Kung Fu dominates. It was created in the early 20th century by a native of Hubei, Kanta Kai, who combined Taishing, or monkey kung fu, he learned from his sifu, with Pekwa, which he got from his father, Kan Wing Gai, a famous military kung fu master. While working in Shanghai, Kan was invited by the Namo Association to teach Daishing Pekwa in Hong Kong in 1930. Namo was founded by a master of Hung Kune, which later adopted the saber routine of Daishing Pekwa.
The southern part of Kung Fu, they put more emphasis on the use of arm, fist, while our northern part of style will emphasize more on using of leg, kicking, somersaulting, and Chinese script.
At 6 years old, Man Wing Kai started studying Taishing Pekwa from his sifu, Chan Sao Chung, a disciple of Kanta Kai, who had stayed to open a school. At 16, Man Wing Kai became assistant sifu. Sin Lam Yuk came to the school at about that time.
Originally, I went to look, to observe, but a senior student's opponent didn't show up. Other seniors suggested letting me try.
My chief was reluctant to accept him. He was just like a foreigner, like a guai zai. Not a local. In the early 70s, the sifu, the thinking, is still very reserved. Chinese Kung Fu must be taught to the Chinese. But I told my master, he is a born fighter. So my sifu said, okay, if you said that, you train him.
Was he tough on you?
Sometimes.
Right. Usually very hard. But he can meet my requirement.
Martial arts is not about fighting, but being prepared to fight. People will always think twice before they attack you. You do not say or do anything that you are not willing to see through.
The first time I took him to the fight, his legs start trembling. I said, hey, don't be frightened. I said, no. I'm very excited. I can't wait anymore.
He knocked out his opponent in 27 seconds.
What we need is a fighting heart. So it proved my decision is correct. 6 months training, he became the Southeast Asia championship. Every fight he KO'd his opponent.
From 1969, Chan Sao-chung sent his students to the Southeast Asia Martial Arts Championships. Sin Lam Yuk won in 1973. Then, movie offers poured in for Sin.
They needed many actors who know Kung Fu. By chance, I got to know some veterans in the industry. He said, "Why don't you try since you are a champion already, right?" The earlier films tended to be action films set in early Republic of China. Many were fighting films, so I think Taishing Pekquar looks good in action.
Movie star, television star, but they come to learn Taishing Pekquar because our type of Kung Fu quite well looking, quite attractive. You can jumping, somersaulting.
At the time, I signed with Gold Dig Films to make 6 movies, early Republic of China action films.
Sin's Sifu Chan Sao-chung was also roped into films, starring in Monkey Fist in 1974. That cemented his status as Monkey King.
Chan Sao-chung is the person who held it together. Taishing Pekquar would not be where it is today. That's for sure. So I think for a style to succeed, you need to have important masters for each successive generation. And certainly Chan Sao-chung played that role, and Master Man, and indeed Master Sin, are playing that role, continue the tradition.
Today, Man Wing Gai teaches Taishing Pekquar in Shenzhen.
The style never changed, but his training has changed. In the old days, we would do exactly what Sifu asked us to do, very obedience. And nowadays, you can't push the student to do what you want to do. Too hard. They feel pain.
So Man handpicks his disciples and teaches them for free.
If you are not up to my required standard, I won't teach you anything more.
He's just trained 5 pupils.
They will go back to Hopei to be a Sifu. I hope Taishing Pekquar will carry on generation after generation. This type of traditional Kung Fu, if we don't promote after 1 decade, 2 decades, will be vanished, no more. So it's what a pity.
1, 2, 1, 2, 4個，4。
Sin Lam Yuk teaches both Taishing Pekquar and Muay Thai.
I'm obsessed with both. Muay Thai is trendy now. In our times, it was Kung Fu.
Jab 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2，四個1、2、3、4，多謝，1、2。
In the 80s, Sin competed in professional boxing in Hong Kong with Western counterparts.
We had to wear 8-ounce boxing gloves. We used boxing gloves 4 ounces lighter in Chinese martial arts ring fighting, so you expend much more effort for the same results. And the Western ring is surrounded by ropes, while Chinese rings were not, and were much bigger. I simplified Taishing Pekquar moves, coordinated them with ring-style fighting, wide and long movements consume great energy, so we mixed in Western short punches, hammering and hooking.
Sin Lam Yuk is now vice president of the Hong Kong Muay Thai Association.
He developed in that direction. I still stay in the traditional Taishing Pekquar Kung Fu. So we try to promote in different way only, but the result is the same.
Choi Siu-ming started at age 5 acting in Cantonese operas.
The fundamental skills of Cantonese opera and martial arts are totally the same. We have to practice waist and foot skills, somersault, pouncing, etc. So when I started learning Kung Fu at 9 years old, I adapted quickly.
At 21, he started directing his own martial arts films.
I felt I had to learn many different Kung Fu styles to use them in my movies. I learned Kune, the real Wing Chun. As long as I can use it in my movies, I'd learn it under a renowned sifu. Through movies or dramas, people can get to know some of China's forgotten Kung Fu treasures. And through storylines, characters, and cinematography, promote the specialties of the families of Kung Fu.
In 1981, Choi produced the TV drama The Legendary Fok, based on a contemporary Kung Fu master. Many thought it would flop.
He thought the story has a compelling and important message to convey to the wider audience. It became a phenomenon in Hong Kong, and it transformed the whole TV thing in mainland China as well.
Choi's latest TV series about the Tai Chi Mantis style is set in China in the mid-1890s.
In the Sino-Japanese War then, many urban heroes emerged, including a praying mantis Grand Master, who was very patriotic and loved his people very much. This is a story of heroes in chaotic times. Within the community, people would tell stories about heroes, so many audiences would form a special affection for martial arts heroes.
Hong Kong had its own kung fu hero.
In the golden era of Chinese kung fu movies, when they spread internationally, Bruce Lee was at the pinnacle.
Bruce Lee projected a completely different image of martial arts. Whereas before it's something that is tacked to the past, Bruce Lee brought it back to contemporary times and make it exceptionally cool.
He's not just a normal actor or superstar. He's a martial arts master in our hearts.
Kong Chi Kung was so impressed, he sought out American-born Bruce Lee's chief Chinese disciple in the U.S., Ted Wong.
Every year he came to Hong Kong and I attended his seminars until he noticed me. My Kung Fu brothers told him I was already a Wing Chun master.
Besides Wing Chun, Kong had studied Tai Ching Pekwar under Sin Lam Yuk. In 1999, he became Ted Wong's disciple.
He only took on 6 people in Hong Kong. I was one of them. Unlike Chinese traditional sifus, he was very patient in teaching you. He likes asking us if we had any questions, if we understood.
Ted Wong taught Jeet Kune Do, invented by Bruce Lee. It incorporates fencing, boxing, and Wing Chun.
The concept of Jeet Kune Do is to abolish things not suitable for you and simplify what's suitable, best into one step that includes time, speed, position, and rigidness. It's in line with Wing Chun philosophy.
Bruce Lee learned Wing Chun from Yip Man. Now Kong teaches both Wing Chun mixed with Jeet Kune Do.
In Wing Chun, there are some repetitive movements, but in our Jeet Kune Do fighting, we are here. He hits me, I hit him here. Even if he hit me, I've already kicked him here. Even without hands, I can intercept him.
Bruce Lee summed up his philosophy in a note to Ted Wong.
It says one must be loyal to one's martial arts. Years afterwards, the most powerful martial art is your own freestyle martial art.
Martial arts that survive seem to have moved with the times, gleaning the best from other styles or honed by new masters, perfected with each generation.
If you look at the term, Kung Fu, this is a Buddhist term. Kung Fu does not just refer to martial arts. Anything that requires cultivation, perseverance, time, that is Kung Fu. And through this, you discover something that's eternal, something that's universal. You discover the great Tao.
Well, thank you for watching our show. It will be re-aired on Tuesday and Saturday, as well as on tvb.com. Until next time, from the Pearl Report team, good night, good luck, and good health.